Welcome to Burgin's 5 Stars. Got an interesting 5 stars this week. I actually saw somebody putting out some of the greatest, ESPN actually, the greatest 100 plays or 50 plays in NCAA history. A lot of the plays actually came back to the best games. So we're going to do the best top 5 games since 1990, since our era of college football. Not before then, but from our era. And we're going to go and start with number 5, Texas Tech versus Texas, 2008. The Crabtree game. The Graham Harrell sideline Crabtree, that was such a great game, back and forth. Colt McCoy actually led Florida to go to the national championship. It was such a huge game, but I think the impossible, I think everybody thought Texas Tech was for real. Harrell, Crabtree, we all know where we were. Maybe one of the greatest plays in NCAA history.
Working Sky Bar. Had money on the game first year of ever actually getting into sports betting.
Yeah.
Watching that game from the TVs above us as we were supposed to be working and we're stopped outside watching it and see that catch at the end.
Yeah. Oh, it was incredible.
It was incredible. Yeah.
Number 4, Alabama versus Georgia, National Championship 2017. Georgia takes the big lead at halftime. Bama benches Jalen. Tua comes in, rocking and firing. The sack, the hit to Devontae Smith to win the national championship probably could be higher on the list. But that, to me, with Kirby versus Saban, what a game that was. You'll always remember where you were when Tua threw that ball and got sacked before. But them benching Jalen, so much relevancy of all that. That's number 4 on my list. Number 3, 2007, Boise State, Oklahoma. I think to this day, people still talk about that play. Chance says Statue of Liberty. I say the hook and lateral because Chance always brings up they not just had one pitch off that. They had 2 other pitches that they didn't even have to use.
That is true, but
being a flag football guy, the creativity was like, oh my gosh, they didn't even have to use it, but they actually had the quarterback and then the running back behind him if they had to.
Yeah.
And the being a powerhouse, that to me, Peterson ended up going to Washington and having such a successful career both at Boise.
Brody, or whatever his name was, he's a coach now. In the NFL.
Who?
The quarterback for Boise that year.
I don't know. It wasn't Kellen Moore. No,
that wasn't Kellen Moore.
That was a couple years. It was
okay.
It was a different. I can't remember the guy's name, but yeah, it was a little bit.
Kellen Moore was later. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, number 2, kick 6, Auburn versus Alabama. I actually, looking back, it was a great game. The Amari Cooper 99-yard touchdown. The 2010 comeback may have actually been the better game.
I was at both, but left the comeback and went and watched the second half.
Wow.
With friends at a house.
Wow.
I didn't want to be in the stadium.
Yeah.
It was not fun for me that first half.
I don't know if I like the competitive game all the way through or the big lead in the comeback, like the Georgia-Bama game this year. I still am debating on what I like because I think Auburn, Alabama in 2013 for the kick 6, it was actually a better game all the way through. But the Auburn comeback in 2010 was just it was crazy. So both games were good. I got the kick 6 and how it ended, number 2 on my list. And then number 1, I still think Texas versus USC in 2006 is the best game. The best talent, the way it ended, Vince Young, the plays. I'll never forget where I was, how it all happened. I was at Brad Boyd's house.
I was at my house. Braxton Sescudi was hanging out with us, and me, him, and my mom were watching it.
Okay.
That was just an odd, weird situation. I think it was because it was the time of the year, New Year's or whatever, obviously. So
yeah. I don't know. They had a big projector, I remember. But again, the Reggie Bush pitch that should have been caught for a touchdown that didn't happen. So many games, so many crazy things. But the talent level on that field, the game, Keith Jackson's last game he ever called, I still think that's number 1 until I see something different. But there have been a lot of these. I was thought about a bunch of 90s games, and even some Florida games. A lot of Florida national championships have been blowouts. Auburn's game against Florida State, that was another game. Auburn's played some classic games, Chance.
I'm trying to remember what year it would have been. Sean Taylor, Miami versus
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Okay.
Yep. Maurice Corrett year.
One of those games.
That was a good game. Yep, that was another one on the list.
But again, I only rember that game because of being a huge Sean Taylor fan. So I can't say it was a great for any other reason.
I think he was just a freshman that year and still dominating.
Yeah.
Ed Reed was on that. That was a loaded Miami team.
That team was.
All right, with Rodgers going to the Steelers, it had me thinking, who is the best one-player addition to a team that really changed everything about the culture or how they play and really put them in a new level? This was a tough list. Honorable mention, I'm going to go Saquon Barkley with the Eagles this year. I think Saquon was such a great addition to them, but the Eagles were in the championship 2 years before. So I don't think it was something that was so drastic that it made them relevant or made them really good. I think they were already really good. I think it just put them over the top. Number 5, two-way tie. Randy Moss going to the Patriots for the 3rd round or 4th round pick from the Raiders. When they got Randy Moss, Tom Brady's career just went. I mean, it was already good, but it went. And they didn't even win the Super Bowl that year. But still, that year, I'll never forget all the touchdowns, the records broken, the undefeated year, losing to the Giants in the Super Bowl. That's why it's probably not higher on my list because they lost to the Giants. And also T.O. to the Eagles. They also went to the Super Bowl and lost as well. I think both those would be higher on the list because both receivers that came into franchises that didn't have the big number 1 receiver, and they just went off that year. T.O. actually played the Super Bowl with a broken leg, if you don't remember, Chance.
Yeah.
But I have both those at 5. Number 4, Matt Stafford to the Rams. The Rams had made it to the Super Bowl a couple years before that with Jared Goff and lost to the Patriots. They get Stafford. I still have Stafford as one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. I love Matt Stafford and the way he plays football. Him going to the Rams changed that team. The plays he made with Kupp and the no-looks and all the plays in the playoffs, I think that was such a great move and obviously won them the Super Bowl. I like Goff, but I don't think Goff's as good as Stafford. Just don't think so. Number 3, Peyton Manning of the Broncos. Later in his career, Broncos had really done nothing since John Elway, and then next thing you know, they had the greatest offense of all time with Welker, with Julian Thomas, Demaryius Thomas, R.I.P. That offense may be one of the best offenses of all time. Manning reviving his late in his career from the Colts, and they go on, they lose the Super Bowl, and then they win a Super Bowl. But him going to the Broncos, I think, was it just changed everything for them. Number 2, Deion Sanders. If you recall in 1994, the 49ers won the Super Bowl with Deion Sanders. The next year, he gets traded to the Cowboys, and the Cowboys win the Super Bowl in 1995. A lot of it had to do with Deion. He could lock up your best receiver. He made so many plays with intercepting balls, a lot of them taking to touchdowns. He played both ways on some of those teams. But I think to me, it's like if you go and win a Super Bowl with one team and you go be their best defender on the next team and win the Super Bowl again, that to me was a huge trade at the time and obviously got the Cowboys their last Super Bowl. That's the last Super Bowl the Cowboys have ever won was 1995. That's crazy.
No, it's not. Go Washington.
Yeah.
That's expected.
And number 1, Tom Brady, the Bucs.
That's all.
I think that to me was like the Bucs had not won a Super Bowl in a long time. They had every piece there, but they brought in Brady. And they had a great defense, had some skill on the outside with Mac Evans and these guys, and they bring in Brady and they go win the Super Bowl the first year. I don't think that like you ever could have written up. Usually when you put these teams together, it doesn't work out like that. But bringing him in and them going to win a Super Bowl, I think that's got to be number 1 on the list. And maybe one of the best acquisitions in the history of the NFL. So
I agree with your list. One, I would say on the honorable mention, I can't believe was probably left off, but I might be wrong on the numbers here. That's why I'm going to bring it up memory and see if you can help me.
Yeah.
Ingram was drafted by the Saints, right?
Who?
Ingram.
Yes.
Mark Ingram. Ended up at the Ravens.
Yes.
Same year that Lamar got MVP.
Yes.
Same year they went to the playoffs and lost in the
conference championship, I think. I think they made it that far that year, yeah.
Okay. I think without him, they weren't that good.
Okay.
That was one of my honorable mentions I would have thrown in.
Another one I just thought about, too, was Derrick Henry to the Ravens this year.
Yes. That was, so, again, you named a running back. Same situation. I think honorable mentions are proven. Those 3 are all running backs that are studs.
Yeah.
Huge game changers.
But yeah, they came into a pretty good team and made them great. And a couple plays away, Mark Andrews or something from playing for a Super Bowl. They're really Rodgers is the one this year. To me, they have a really good defense. They really do. Watt, Fitzpatrick, all those guys. Cameron Hayward coming back for maybe his last year. I'd be interested to see if Rodgers can revamp that.
Speaking of who you just mentioned, Henry is claiming he can beat Lamar in a race.
Really? Holy cow.
So they've been practicing together and racing and stuff. And Lamar's shifty.
Yeah.
Henry is power.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that kind of power if he's actually faster than Lamar hitting you at 240 pounds.
Well, I mean, this is their defense, the Steelers. We talked about this already. Joey Porter Jr., Minka Fitzpatrick, Slade Jr., Darius Slade's on their team now.
Yeah, their defense is
Patrick Queen, Peyton Wilson, T.J. Watt, Cameron Haber, Derek Harmon. Like, they're loaded.
This is the Steelers' specialty.
Boswell's a good kicker.
Their defense will always keep them in their games. The ones they win are the ones because of what they're used to. The weather elements, the scrappy games in the snow and the rain. Those are where the Steelers shine. But when you put them in a sunny Sunday game against anybody else, they're going to lose.
Well, here's what's interesting to me is their number 2 receiver is Robert Woods. He had 200 yards last year. Calvin Austin, 500 yards last year. They got Fairmouth, who's a good tight end.
Yeah, he's a great tight end.
Got DK Metcalf. But then they're starting running back. They got rid of Najee. Jalen Warren ran for 500 yards last year.
Who was it that just signed J.K. Dobbins?
Oh, I saw that too. I can't remember who it was. I just don't think they're outside of DK, like Woods. I mean, they got a couple options, but it's still not an explosive offense. Where I look for them to sign somebody else.
They will. They'll pick up some free agents and stuff like that too. You never know. They might pull some people like they might go try to find a Julian Edelman type and say, hey, come get out of retirement and come back.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean...
Gronk. They got Fairmouth, so they don't need a tight end, but...
Gronk's enjoying his retirement, I feel like.
Speaking of retirement, Chance is going on a break, vacation next week. Enjoy it, Chance. We'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll have NBA Finals champion. We'll be prepared for the NBA draft. And we'll be a couple weeks... I'm saying a couple because I think it's like 8 or 9 from college football.
Hey, people, get these views up.
Get them up. Need your support. Tide and Tigers.